Come si fa a costruire il valore di un brand?
How do you effectively establish the value of a brand? What should you aim for to make a shipyard stand out among many, even among those with a long history? Is there only one way? By designing very beautiful and quality boats. This is an obvious goal for Dario Messina, founder of the NEREA Yacht shipyard, who, together with Ideal Italia, designed this MY40. We can navigate in many ways, but if you drive a certain type of car, if you wear a certain type of dress, if at your wrist you wear a certain type of watch, and you are looking for a 12-metre yacht of a certain level, well, maybe you should take a look at this yacht, especially in its details. I think it hasn't been easy to build it because everywhere I look, I can see little masterpieces, the result of maniacal work. Consider the difference between a handrail, even one that has been sheathed, and this tailored weave, which must have a distinct structure and tension to look so good, and it's made from recycled nylon.
Un banale portello non è tollerabile.
Having a simple hatch on NY40 is not acceptable. Here, they use special materials like this sustainable mortar, which, with its colour and look, valorizes these elements while also recalling nature.
Un po' la natura.
I'm struck by the shapes of this yacht. They are gorgeous and nautical, meaning suitable for a boat and the environment around it. We're going to especially show you the details because they make the difference. Then, as is obvious, there are all the elements that we typically find on a 40-footer, and even something more. A multifunctional aft swimming platform that becomes a royal staircase, and not just a ladder, or a large platform, and not just a gangway, so that hopping on board can be effortless, even for a lady in evening dress. You can choose a different colour, but what counts is the quality of the painting, which also depends on the preparation of the background, which is moulded and treated to achieve this perfection. It's clear that everyone who participated in the building of this yacht, the designer, carpenters and technicians, is highly qualified.
Che cos'è che rende affascinante una barca? L'armonia.
What is it that makes a boat fascinating? The harmony of the shapes, the one of the upper edge of the windshield, the one of the front edge of the T-top, the one of the lateral window, the one that shapes the side, and the one of the forward deck. They all seem to be related to each other. That's why they enchant.
Il ponte è sgombro, non ci sono battaglioni.
The deck is empty, there are no guardrails, but there is a handrail, and there are no sun pads. But you could get a designer set of towels as a gift. In any case, the shipyard is available for any possible customization.
Ulteriori personalizzazioni.
Two suspended steps connect the cockpit to the deck. The kitchen unit is oriented so as to remain in the shadow when used. By adjusting the backrest of the sunbed, another sofa can be added to the living area. There are just 2 seats in the front of the pilot station, but before I even sit down, I'm attracted to the sportiness of the backrests.
Il cantiere è giovane, ma l'esperienza di chi lo dirige è notevole.
The shipyard is young, but the experience of those who run it is considerable, and it was not used only for aesthetic purposes. So, for example, the T-top and the pylon supporting it are made of carbon. In any case, they have added 2 front supports to limit any possible sway, and they've also made them curvy and aesthetically pleasing to remind us once again that style and function can, and indeed must, coexist.
Anzi, debbono coesistere.
Below deck there are various layout options. For example, instead of a double bed at the bow, we can have a living area. What differs from all the other 12-metre yachts is the furnishing. All materials are selected and processed as if they were a super yacht. The leather has been tanned with vegetable products and they use solvent-free glues. The duffel bag hardware is nickel-free and of impeccable workmanship. Amidships is a hallway with furnishings and a head. Towards the stern, there are 2 single beds or a queen-size bed on one side. Here, there is a lack of space, even a small one, to stand up. But on the 40-footer, there is no need to look for considerable heights below deck. Otherwise, the yachts end up with a high centre of gravity, which results in increased roll at anchor and a high heeling angle at sea.
Oggi testiamo NEREA Yacht NY40 con 2 motori entro fuoribordo.
Today we're testing the NEREA Yacht NY40 with 2 diesel stern drives, but there is also the possibility of having outboard engines. Well, I have to admit that although I love outboards on boats of this size, perhaps I would not choose them as a matter of elegance and consistency with the line of this wonderful boat.
Eleganza, di coerenza con la linea di questa meravigliosa barca. Abbiamo 2 Yanmar da 370 cavalli.
Here we have 2 370 horsepower Yanmar engines with Yanmar stern drives, obviously. But if you want, you can lean toward 2 280 horsepower Volvo Penta gasoline engines or 2 300 horsepower Volvo Penta diesel engines, the D4. I think these are somewhat borderline powers. I would prefer the version with Volvo Penta's D6, inline 6-cylinder engines rated at 380 horsepower, or even better, at 440 horsepower.
A 440 cavalli. Molte le soluzioni anche con i fuoribordo.
There are many solutions with outboards as well. 3 300 horsepower Mercury engines, 3 450 horsepower Mercury racing engines, or 2 600 horsepower Verado V12s, also by Mercury.
Giornata invernale nel Golfo della Spezia, assenza di vento.
Today is a winter day in the Gulf of La Spezia. No wind, but a very rough sea. There is a long wave that is not that hard to ride, but it is high.
Le prestazioni che misureremo oggi sono
The performance we're going to measure today is a bit lower than the standard, and this is for one basic reason. This model was equipped with everything that could be installed on board in terms of accessories, and therefore is a bit heavier.
Accessori, e quindi è un po' più pesante. Serbatoio del carburante e serbatoio dell'acqua pieni per
The fuel tank and water tank are 1/3 full. The flaps are down 20%, not much, while the trim is all the way down. We give gas.
Trim, tutto giù. Gas.
The wake starts detaching, and then the planing starts. We are at 12 knots.
Pensate che l'abbiano
Do you think they made it just to be admired? No.
No. In realtà la carena è di Zuccheri Yacht Design.
Actually, the hull was designed by Zuccheri Yacht Design, and Maurizio Zuccheri wanted a 20-degree dihedral angle, nice and deep to cut through the waves.
Per passare sulle onde tagliandole.
The cruising speed is 18 knots and the total fuel consumption is about 90 litres per hour.
90 litri ora.
The engines have a load of 70%. The boat is stretched out on the water. I have no difficulty controlling it. In fact, I must admit, I enjoy sailing.
Devo dire che mi godo la navigazione. Ci scopriamo.
We come out of the protection that had been offered first by the seawall and then by the promontories of Porto Venere, Palmaria and Tino. We begin to find some waves.
Beccheggio dolce.
The pitching is gentle, very smooth and
Direi
pleasant.
piacevole. Sembra tarata su una velocità di
It
crociera
seems rated for a cruising speed of 25 knots because the engines are always 70% loaded and the consumption, the hourly one, has increased very little to a total of 105 litres per hour.
Bisognerebbe avere sempre la fortuna di poter
One should always be
scegliere
lucky enough to be able to choose when to work and when to have fun, because even on a winter day like this, navigation is wonderful.
navigare è meraviglioso. Ti senti padrone del mare, non c'è
You feel
nessuno.
like you own the sea. There is no one there, and the boat feels really nice, even if the sea is rough.
Anche se è mosso. La coperta resta asciutta nonostante
The deck stays dry, even though I'm pointing at the waves at 30 knots.
in virata bisogna essere
Veering, you have to be gentle.
dolci. Dare timone, aspettare per
You
capire.
must give the rudder, wait for the heel angle to be determined, and then correct.
Correggere. Forse sarebbe giusto limitare
Perhaps it would be fair to limit the bar angle precisely to avoid a situation that is theoretically too adrenaline pumping, perhaps in the hands of a somewhat aggressive
le
captain.
mani di un pilota un po' aggressivo. Direi che a
I would
questo
say that at this point we can't miss it. Full throttle.
Giovanetta. Tolgo leggermente i flap.
I take the flaps off slightly to give a little trim and get up to 35 knots.
35 nodi. NEREA Yacht NY40 accessoriata completamente.
NEREA Yacht NY40, fully accessorised and cared for as we saw it in this test, is certainly not the cheapest on the market. But after all, it is made for those who look closely at products, choose them for their beauty and quality, and only ask the price later.
Lo chiede solo successivamente.